President Trump has taken a bold step in signing an executive order aimed at protecting the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens. This move is seen as a significant measure to ensure that the constitutional rights of Americans are not infringed upon. This decisive action comes as a direct response to years of relentless attempts to chip away at our fundamental freedoms. The Biden administration was vocal about implementing stricter gun control laws which undermined the Second Amendment. The American people have a right to defend themselves. This right is not just a privilege, but a fundamental aspect of American life. It is deeply rooted in the nation's history and culture. The Second Amendment guarantees this right. Trump understands this. He recognizes that the ability to bear arms is essential for the protection of personal liberty and security. Biden's policies, driven by an anti-gun agenda, represented a clear and present danger to our constitutional liberties. These policies disarm law-abiding citizens, leaving them vulnerable. Biden's administration pushed for stricter gun control measures that did little to stop criminals. Instead, these measures made it harder for responsible citizens to protect themselves. Instead, these measures punished responsible gun owners. People who follow the law and practice gun safety were unfairly targeted by these regulations. Trump's executive order is a beacon of hope for those who believe in the right to keep and bear arms. It sends a strong message that the government will not infringe upon the rights of its citizens. This is not just about guns, it is about freedom. The right to bear arms is intrinsically linked to the broader concept of liberty and personal autonomy. It is about the right of individuals to protect themselves, their families, and their property. In a world where threats can come from anywhere, the ability to defend oneself is paramount. The Second Amendment is the cornerstone of American liberty. It is a safeguard against tyranny and oppression, ensuring that the power remains with the people. Trump's actions demonstrate his unwavering commitment to upholding the Constitution. By signing this executive order, he has reaffirmed his dedication to protecting the rights and freedoms that define America. This move is a reminder of the enduring spirit of American independence and the ongoing fight to preserve our liberties. It is a call to action for all citizens to stand up for their rights and ensure that the principles of the Constitution are upheld for future generations. As the nation watches, President Trump's bold stance on the Second Amendment will undoubtedly spark discussions and debates. But one thing is clear. His commitment to the Constitution and the rights it enshrines remains steadfast and resolute. The Biden administration was relentless in its pursuit of gun control. From the very beginning of his presidency, Joe Biden made it clear that he intended to tackle what he perceived as a growing gun violence problem in America. His administration introduced a series of measures aimed at tightening gun regulations and reducing the number of firearms in circulation. One of the primary targets of those efforts was so-called ghost guns. These are firearms that are privately made and lack serial numbers, making them difficult to trace. The administration argued that these guns are a significant threat because they can be easily assembled from kits purchased online without background checks. However, these ghost guns are often misrepresented by the media and anti-gun politicians. They are portrayed as a major contributor to gun violence, despite the fact that they are used in a relatively small number of crimes. The narrative around ghost guns has been used to push for broader gun control measures. It's important to note that ghost guns are not inherently more dangerous than other firearms. Like any other gun, their danger lies in the hands of the person using them. Responsible gun owners who build their own firearms for personal use are being unfairly targeted by these new regulations. In addition to targeting ghost guns, Biden pushed for zero-tolerance policies for gun dealers. This means that even minor paperwork errors resulted in dealers losing their licenses, effectively putting them out of business. This approach punishes small business owners who are trying to follow the law. Many of these dealers are meticulous about compliance, but the threat of losing their livelihood over a simple mistake created an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Small business owners, who are the backbone of the American economy, are being disproportionately affected by these stringent policies. They are often the ones who provide personalized service and ensure that their customers understand the responsibilities that come with gun ownership. These policies are part of a larger strategy to make it more difficult for law-abiding citizens to own guns. By creating more hurdles and increasing the risk for gun dealers, the administration hopes to reduce the number of firearms in circulation. Biden's attempts to restrict access to firearms are seen by many as a clear infringement on our Second Amendment rights. The right to bear arms is a fundamental part of American history and culture, and any attempt to curtail this right is met with strong opposition. His administration also pushed for universal background checks and the creation of a national gun registry. While these measures were presented as ways to keep guns out of the hands of criminals, they raised significant privacy concerns and fears of government overreach. These measures are not only ineffective, but also dangerous. They do little to prevent crime and instead place undue burdens on law-abiding citizens. The debate over gun control is far from over and continues to be a contentious issue in American politics. Gun registration systems have been tried in other countries. They have consistently failed to reduce crime. Criminals, by their very nature, do not obey the law. They do not register their guns. Gun registries only serve to create a database that can be used by criminals or by tyrannical governments to confiscate firearms from law-abiding citizens. History has shown that gun registration is often a precursor to confiscation. This was the case in Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia. The government used gun registries to identify and disarm political opponents. We cannot allow this to happen in the United States. Section 5. Background checks and registries, a recipe for tyranny. Universal background checks sound good in theory. However, they are difficult to enforce without a national gun registry. Such a registry would be a dream come true for criminals and tyrannical governments alike. Imagine a world where the government knows exactly who owns what guns. This is a recipe for tyranny. It would make it easier for criminals to steal guns. It would make it easier for governments to confiscate guns from law-abiding citizens. Section 6. The Second Amendment, an unwavering right. The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution is clear and unambiguous. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, shall not be infringed. This right is not granted by the government. It is a fundamental liberty. It is an inherent right that is endowed by our Creator. The Founding Fathers, in their wisdom, enshrined this right within the Constitution. The Founding Fathers understood the importance of a well-armed citizenry. They had experienced firsthand the oppression of a tyrannical government. They knew that a well-armed populace is the best defense against tyranny, both foreign and domestic. This was not a theoretical concern for them, but a lived reality. The Second Amendment is not about hunting. It is about freedom. It is about ensuring that the people have the means to defend themselves and their liberties. It is about the preservation of a free state, where the government is kept in check by the power of its citizens. The right to bear arms is a testament to the trust the Founding Fathers placed in the American people. It is a right that transcends time, reminding us of the enduring principles upon which this nation was built. The Second Amendment is a cornerstone of American identity, a symbol of our unwavering commitment to liberty and justice for all. Section 7. Original intent, the Founders' vision. The Founders were crystal clear in their belief that the right to keep and bear arms is a fundamental right that is essential to a free society. The Second Amendment is not open to interpretation. It is not a living document that can be twisted to fit the political agenda of the day. It is a timeless principle that protects our liberty. In conclusion, so many government actions are cloaked in the rhetoric of crime prevention, but are aimed at impeding gun ownership. Mr. Trump's team will have its work cut out over the next month as it begins to reverse a damaging legacy of disarming Americans and putting gun dealers out of business. Recently, the Department of Justice under Attorney General Pam Bondi put a hold on all federal firearm cases before the courts. I'm not sure that was the best move in the long run, as I would like to see the courts have to rule on the cases after the Supreme Court's Bruin and Heller rulings. Under these rulings, there is no current firearm restriction or regulation that can be ruled constitutional. The Constitution and the founders were very clear on the right of the people to keep and bear arms as a fundamental and unalienable right, free from any government restriction. Any and all gun control regulation is unconstitutional. Any weapon the government or the standing army can possess is legal for the people to possess. Stay frosty, my friends. Keep your head down and your powder dry.